actually recording.
Got it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So tonight, I'm going to share the agenda again and to just kind of go over the format for this evening. And let's see, I'm going to share my screen again. So tonight we are going to have the following presenters with us in this order, and we're going to have them basically do a little overview of their program. We'll give them a certain amount of time, you can take about 7 minutes to just give us a little bit of overview about your apprenticeship program and some basic information and maybe information about how to apply, who you're looking for, and a little bit about the career. After we have our presenters present on their apprenticeship programs, at the end of the meeting, we'll give about 20 minutes where we will have all of our different presenters in breakout rooms, and any of the participants in the call can join and speak to anyone that they want to and ask some individual questions. So I am going to ask that you hold your questions until the breakout rooms. And at that time, you can actually go into a breakout room with Greg from the electricians, ask some questions. And then if you wanted to go over to ask something of the plumbers and steamfitters with Wayne Ellis, you can go into that room as well. You'll be able to self-select, like I said, once the presentations are over, and we'll set those rooms up. And if you have any problems getting into the room, Nicole and I will stay in the main room and help you. So before we get started on the presentations, I just wanted to start with a quick poll that I set up. And I'm going to go ahead and launch it. It's just kind of 3 questions. And if you could just take the time to answer these 3 questions, just to know a little bit about why you're here. And I think you should be able to see the poll now. Just some questions, a little bit about why you're here, what you're looking for information, and then a question at the end, just to get to know who's here on the call with us. All right, we just have about 20 seconds left. If you wanted to go ahead, I see people are still answering the questions. All right, please don't forget to just mute yourself when you come in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to give you another couple seconds, and then I'm going to end the poll. All right, thank you. I just wanted to kind of share the results. Reason people are here, most of you, it looks like over half of you, or more than half, are looking for information about a career for yourself, and you're at the right place to learn about apprenticeship. Some of you are curious for other family members, and some are just curious to know what apprenticeship is. A little bit about COVID. I'm not surprised that, we have about half people that feel that it's changed their work life or school life drastically, and very few that it hasn't really impacted at all. And then kind of a nice thing to know, we're pretty evenly, well, actually most people for spring, if they're taking a spring break, would like to relax at home. That's nice. So anyway, thank you guys for answering that. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the poll, and we're going to go ahead and start with our first presenter, which is Greg Arcidiacono from the local Union 302, the electrical.
Okay, thank you, Suzanne. Hello, everybody. Hope hopefully you're going to get some good information tonight to help you make your decisions about your career. The apprenticeship is just really a very, very good way to go. You learn a trade, something that you can use, and it's just invaluable as you get in your career. Well, I'll give you a little background on the electricians. The electricians apprenticeship program, like many others, is a 5-year program where you work during the day, get paid, and in our case, you attend school 2 nights a week, and you don't get paid while you're attending school, but that's your related and supplemental education. So you know, 2 components: work during the day, get paid, school 2 nights a week. You're not getting paid while you're in school. Okay, we here in Contra Costa County, when you go to look at the trades, and I'll speak just for the electrician's trade, you want to be able to get as well-rounded as you can. And in the electrician's trade, there's 3 big areas that categorize what we do. There's industrial, you know, the refineries. You have the Shell refinery and Chevron refinery here in this county. Commercial, you see a lot of buildings, hospitals, shopping centers, things like that, you know, being built. That's commercial work. And then residential. Residential is house wiring. And when you go through the apprenticeship, you're going to get exposed to each of those big categories. I mean, there's solar, there's electric vehicle charging stations, there's, you know, battery storage, there's a lot of other kind of facets of the industry. But for the, you know, just for the sake of knowing it, you know, residential, commercial, and industrial. And we have all 3 of those. So you do get well-rounded when you come through the apprenticeship program. They're getting selected for the program. They're all very competitive programs. We just finished taking applications in January, and we had 700 applications. So that gives you an idea for possibly, you know, 40 jobs. So it's very, very competitive. There's a aptitude test that covers algebra and reading comprehension. And, you know, so you need to make sure you kind of brush up on the stuff that, you know, the algebraic formulas, because that's, you know, that's a big, big part of the test. Reading comprehension, you know, you need to be able to read and retain the information so you could answer the questions. And so that's, you know, those 2 categories. Most programs do have an aptitude test. Our program, there's no cost for the individual to take the aptitude test. It comes from our national office. We take care of all that. If you pass the aptitude test, you go to an interview, a panel interview. That panel could be 6 to 8 people, and you have to be able to, you know, sell yourself in those interviews. It's, you know, sometimes it can be a little intimidating, but you just practice a little bit, you know, be able to get your point across about what it is that you think you're getting yourself into. Remember, you're starting from the very beginning, so there's no previous experience necessary. We teach you everything that you're going to need to progress and become a journey person at the end of the 5 years. The wages in construction tend to be higher than some other jobs out there, but that's kind of like in construction, you only get paid when you're working. So if you come around Thanksgiving and there's Thursday and Fridays off, you're only getting paid for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The wages are higher to accommodate the fact that you could be off work. We tell people coming into the program, base your income on 9 months a year. Not to say that you're going to be off for 3 months, but base it on 9 months, and those 3 months that you're working, that's when you're putting that money aside for when you do get laid off or something, some job gets rained out for a week because it's too muddy or, things like that. And you just want to, you know, wages are good, very good, but they don't let that be the only reason why you wanted to get into an apprenticeship program. You know, there's so many different things that you could learn, and you know, as you go through it, you'll start to understand, oh, okay, I see why there's this, why there's that. And everything too kind of goes back to high school. When you're in high school, your teachers are telling you take math, take algebra, and you're thinking sometimes, well, am I going to use it? Am I going to use it? Well, yes. And the electricians, you're going to use algebra, you're going to use geometry, you're going to use trigonometry. So you want to make sure we have actually a threshold of, in order to meet the requirements, you have to have completed 1 full year of high school algebra, passing grade C or better in each semester. So 2 separate semesters have to have a grade C or better in order to meet the basic requirement. And you have to be a high school graduate. So if you didn't graduate from high school, don't worry. You know, the GED is available. You can take that. That's the equivalent for high school graduation. If you didn't take algebra in high school, adult schools or community colleges, the best way to go to take an algebra class. Our national office, which is the Electrical Training Alliance, and you can just type in electricians and it'll come up. They also have a tech math class that is there to help people to pass the aptitude test, and you could take that. There's a cost for that test. I mean that course, excuse me, not test, that course, but it does help you, you know, familiarize yourself or freshen up your algebra, because that's the one area that seems to always be the sticking point. Other than, you know, your wages, there's good health benefits, good retirement. That is going to be important to you at some point as you get older, and you're going to be happy that you went through an apprenticeship and became a journey person and stayed in the construction field. You'll do well. You know, that's pretty much it in a nutshell for, you know, just the basics. We can, you said about 7 minutes. I think I'm right at getting close to it. So.
Great. Thank you so much, Greg. I appreciate it. And again, if you have additional questions for Greg after the presentations, we'll have breakout rooms and you can join Greg to ask some additional questions you may have. So next, I'd like to introduce Joel Roberts from the Local 8 Elevator and Escalator Constructors. Joel, you're up.
Thanks for having me. So good evening. So I'm the apprenticeship coordinator for Local 8, the Elevator Constructors Union in the Bay Area, well, all of Northern California. Our jurisdiction covers from the Tehachapi line south of San Luis Obispo all the way to the Oregon border, from east of Reno to the coast. So we have a large jurisdiction. There's 1,500 elevator constructors in that area. Our program is 4.5, 5 years. It is, you go to class 1 night a week. The rest of the week, you're working 40 hours a week. That's the norm for our trade, is 40 hours a week. You have the, we have classrooms in multiple locations. Because of our jurisdiction, we have classrooms in Martinez, Sacramento, Reno, San Francisco, and Santa Clara. So depending on where you're working, you'll get assigned to one of those classrooms. What else? So we have basically the same kind of benefits as everybody else. We do health, dental, vision, mental health, all of it paid for by the companies. We have a retirement, we have a pension, an annuity, and then we have an optional 401k that you guys, that our members put into. The work that we do is very specialized. We do pretty much every trade as it relates to elevators. We do our own electrical work, we do our own welding, we do our own sheet metal work, we do our own carpentry, plumbing. Everything's done by us if it relates to elevators. So we have a varied skill set, and it's a lot of the stuff that we learn can translate to any field that you, if this one doesn't work out. We just finished opening up our application period. It closed in under 2 minutes. We accepted 750 applications. So we just started that. I started going through that, and we'll have our aptitude test. Our recruitment process starts with getting your application in. Then you get scheduled for an aptitude test. Our aptitude test consists of reading comprehension, mechanical comprehension, and basic arithmetic math up to fractions. The only prerequisites we have for being in the trade is 18 years of age, high school diploma, GED, high school equivalency. That's pretty much it. Everybody's welcome. We have, what else? That's pretty much our program in a nutshell. The biggest thing is if you're interested in it, the jurisdiction that we covered, you can be sent anywhere within that jurisdiction. So you could be working in Fresno, Eureka, Redding, Sacramento. It just depends on where you get dispatched out of. The other part of the aptitude test just gets you to the interview. The interview is how you get ranked on the list. And then we take into consideration education, experience, and then a tool assessment we give you that covers the just basic hand tools, their uses, and measuring. We also, you also have a panel interview like Greg was saying. We have a panel of 2 people, one from the management and then one from the IUEC side. So you'll have 2 people interview you, and then the score of that is worth 50% of your ranking. That's pretty much all I got. If they have any more questions.
Thanks, Joel. And same thing, you can meet Joel after and ask him some more specific questions. All right, so next up we have Billy Hodges from Heat and Frost Insulators. Billy, you're up.
All righty, good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Hodges. I'm an industrial insulator. We call ourselves mechanical insulators. Everybody, what is a heat and frost insulator? We are a 3rd-tier sub. We come behind the plumbers and steamfitters, behind the sheet metal, and we try to make their work look really good. And so sometimes we do a good job at that. No, but we do not do. When people think of insulation, they think of your walls in your house and your blown-in ceilings. We do not do that. That is carpenter's work. We do mechanical insulation, so it's piping, steam systems, chilled water systems, refractory systems, which is above 1500 degrees, all the way down to cryogenic, which is below 100 degrees. And so there's a lot to know about insulation because not every type of insulation works on every system. So we teach you all about the insulations, how to apply them, how to put protective coverings on. We do a variety of work. We are a 5-year program. We take applications 4 times a year at the beginning of each quarter. Next time I'm going to be taking applications is April 11th. We will keep you on the applicant list for 2 years, and if we haven't heard you in that appointed time, you have to come in and apply again. It's a fairly simple process. We do have a very short aptitude test, nothing like the electricians or the others. Their tests can take hours. Ours takes about 20 minutes, but it's just to find out what your comprehension is in math and reading. We do have requirements. You have to be 18 years of age, obviously, but you have to have graduated from high school or have a GED. You have to have 10 units in either algebra or geometry with a passing grade, and you have to have a valid driver's license. That's all we require. When you put your application in, It'll go on file. You'll get a letter from us saying that you were accepted or not accepted. It'll tell you why you weren't accepted. The number one reason why people don't get accepted is they never get their high school or their GED transcripts to me. And so it's really important to follow through and get those in. So what is a day in the life of an insulator? We cover the northern 47 counties of California and 10 in Nevada. So like the elevator operators or our installers, we absolutely cover a large area. We try to keep people as close to home as possible. The employers don't like sending people on what we call road trips for any length of time, but in your career, you will at some point in time pack your bags, leave on Monday morning, go to work, come home on Thursday night, because we normally when we're traveling, we work 4 10s, and you'll have a 3-day weekend with your family, and you'll do it the next week again. It just depends on how big the jobs are, but most jobs, you know, for an insulator, they only last anywhere from a month to 2-3 months. I've been on a job that was out of town, and I was there for a year up in Carson City. But I could probably count the number, the times I was away from home. It was very few. But hey, you went where I always went where I was asked to go. I never said no, because that made me employable. The employers would keep me on, knowing that I was willing to travel for them or do whatever it took to get the job done. We have good wage rates like the other ones. In the Sacramento, we have 2 zones. We have the Sacramento and Lower Valley area, and then we have the 10 counties and around the Bay Area. So that's our zone 1, zone 2, and then zone 3 would be our Reno area. They all have different pay scales. But just to give you an idea, for the state of California, the zone 1 and zone 2 journeymen are first-year apprentices start off at around $30 an hour, and in zone 2, it's around 23. The reason for the big difference, if you ever try to buy a house in the counties in the Bay Area, it'll be sticker shock compared to what you can get a house for out in zone 2. But we are a 5-year program, so you'll go to school for 5 years. You'll go to school once a quarter. That is Thursday through Monday, so you'll miss 3 days of work during the week, but we go to school through the weekend. You do not get paid when you go to school, so you're going to be missing work for 3 days. I tell apprentices always to be planning ahead. Don't spend everything you earn. Save your money so that you can get through these times and not have it be a financial burden. We are a drug testing program. You'll find that most of our facilities that we work in, I would say half of the commercial sites we go to nowadays are drug testing. We do a lot of work in the refineries. You will be drug tested to get into a refinery. Excuse me. So you need to be able to pass a drug test. 2 of our refineries do hair follicle testing. And so it's very difficult to defeat a hair follicle test. So I tell everybody, find something else that makes you happy in your life. Stay away from the drugs. Let's see what else. Excuse me. We have being a 5-year program, going to school once a quarter. It's just a dedication of applying yourself and getting there. The number one reason that I find that apprentices get dropped out of school is for not attending school. We have very little tolerance for non-attendance of school, unless there's a very valid reason. Through COVID time here, it's been more difficult, and we had a lot more creative ways of trying to hold classes, but everything seems to be getting back to the normal. Our school is running absolutely as it did before COVID, and so I believe that it'll probably stay that way unless something drastic happens this coming winter, which I don't expect. But other than that, it's a good life. It's got decent retirement plans, like all the building trades. I would say this to any one of the building trades, union building trades, Any one of them is a good trade to get into. If you have one that you're passionate about, I would definitely seek that one. But if I were in your position right now, I would apply at every single one that I could find that I could put an application into, because you never know who's going to be hiring first. They all of us offer good careers, decent retirements, health care, dental care, vision care. We take care of your families. And that's what it's all about. This is all about getting a career that you can work 30 to 40 years in, retire, and live the American dream. So I'm looking forward to the breakout room. So if there's people that will be having questions, I will see you in about half an hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. The next person we have to speak is Al Garcia from Local 342, Plumbers and Steamfitters. Thank you, Al.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I will echo what the previous speaker just said, Bill Hodges. All these programs you're hearing from tonight, they're awesome programs, and it's just, dependent on what you may be interested in doing for a career. But they're all great programs and all great careers. So again, I'm Al Garcia. I'm from UA Local 342 Apprenticeship Training Program, Plumbers and Steamfitters Union here in Concord, California. Our training program provides career training for the piping construction service industry. So specifically piping, which is conveyance of liquids, gases, or air. Here at the training center in Concord, we have 4 distinct trades, 4 distinct apprenticeship programs that we train in. We have plumbers, steamfitters, HVACR mechanics, and welders, pipe welders. We provide training to our apprentices and journeyman workers in the form of apprentice classes or upgrade certification classes. So brief description of different trades. So plumber, this is mostly new construction work, new buildings, some service plumbing or remodel of existing buildings, possibly hospitals. Steamfitter, mostly new construction, maintenance, heavy industrial, refinery work. We do a lot of work in refineries. Welders, new construction, maintenance again, heavy industrial, refinery work. HVACR is mostly service and maintenance on existing buildings. There is some new installation for buildings that are being constructed. Our work area is Alameda County, and we also cover all the heavy industrial piping work in Contra Costa County. This is a Earn While You Learn trade, 5-year programs for a lifetime career. The union will find you a company to work for. You go to work every day. As far as school, we're kind of split up a little bit because we have a lot of apprentices right now, and depending on the trade or the year that you're in the apprenticeship program, you may have a 1-day class, 1 day every other week, or you might be coming to night school, which is 2 to 3 nights a week. Just depending on what program you're in and what period apprentice you may be. For the most part, this is physical, busy work. I like to think of it as rewarding. When I worked out in the field as a plumber, I am a plumber by trade. It's nice to stand back at what you just installed and take a look at it and go, that looks pretty good. I did that. And there's some satisfaction in looking back at what you did. And all of these trades are the same way, whether it's an electrician or an insulator, you just got done working on, the trade that you are, and you stand back and like, hey, that looks pretty good. There's some fulfillment there. With all the trades, there's room for advancement. Obviously you're going to get into a trade. You're going to want to get from an apprentice to a journeyman worker, but even after journeyman worker, you can be a foreman, a supervisor. There's opportunities in project management, system design, detailing, or even a trade instructor. Work at one of the training programs teaching young apprentices. So starting pay for entry-level apprentice positions, right now it's $28 an hour, and an additional $24 an hour is paid on your behalf as far as for your benefits. That's medical, pension, dental, vision, 401, and HRA. Journeyman worker scale right now is just under $70 an hour at $69.95, And the fringes on top of that are $44 paid in your behalf, to help you support your family with benefits. So it's roughly, if you work a full year, it's $135,000 a year. And as the gentleman from the electrical apprenticeship program said, this is construction. There are ups and downs. But if you're a good worker and you show up every day and you can produce, you're going to work pretty steady in any of the trades that you encounter or want to pursue. We take applications generally once a year. So for 2022, we're going to be doing it in August. So we're going to open applications August 1st. They're going to be online applications. This will be the first time we've done them online. We are going to be capped at 750 applicants. We're looking for, you need to be 18 years old, high school diploma or a GED, photo ID, preferably a driver's license. And we'll do our applicant testing of these 750 applicants around October. This is high school math, mechanical reasoning. If you pass the test at 75%, you'll move on to an oral interview in January and are ranked on applicant waiting list by trade for 2 years. So a lot of the other trades are the same way. Again, this is construction. This is busy, can be hard physical work. But if you like working with your hands and don't mind getting dirty, this may be something that interests you. So I'll be available in a breakout room if anybody needs to talk or wants to chat out a little bit more about our programs. And the organizers of this event have our contact information. So thank you.
Thank you, Al. The next presenter we have is from Tradeswomen, Inc. It's Ester Sandoval. Hi, Ester.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for the invite. And I got my Zoom to acclimate to this little webinar. So thank you so much. Let me add a little bit here, my information here. I'll share it with you all. My name is Ester Sandoval. I've been here for 5.5 years. I'm also a carpenter by trade. Here at TWI, we provide direct services for women entering and moving through careers in the trades, as well as technical assistance to contractors, unions, and apprenticeship programs. TWI, we support local, state, and national policy to increase the success of women in these high-wage, blue-collar careers as construction industry here. So what does this mean in a nutshell for all the women participants? We act as a resource center specifically for women who want to go into the construction industry. That's what we do. So for example, right now we have various folks speaking about their programs. We can tell you a little bit about all of the programs. We know when their applications will be coming up, when their testing will come up. We try to keep track of all of this, and we post these on our website. Hello, Leslie. And what else can I tell you? Well, we've heard here various folks said that when they open up for applications, right? The competition, it seems like the secret's out. Now we've heard 700 folks applied. Joel, I'm not sure if you mentioned that 700 folks signed up. Was it in 2 hours or so, I believe, for the elevators, or 750? So that means that there's still these possibilities. And one I like to highlight also pre-apprenticeships, also known as apprenticeship readiness programs. There's a couple right here that you all will hear from, one of them, Rising Sun. This is one of the things that we also do here. Some of you might be interested in going to apprenticeship programs, yet you realize that, yikes, you want to get to be the top. How can you? What do you need to do? We're here for you. We're here to guide you, right? And try to meet you where you're at. That's what we try to do. And seeing us also as women that we've gone through this process, we've worked there, we know what it looks like, we know what it feels like. In theory, certain things should be in place, yet we have honest conversations. And that's what we try to do. We don't want you to be surprised with anything. And the reason why you're here, because you want a piece of the pie. The wages are amazing. They're great. I've also made a career out of it. You know, we want you to also have that piece of the pie. We're 50% of the population. We bring the diversity. We're different. We see things differently, right? We can do this. We've done it before, and we can do it again. And we need diversity. What does it look like? Like all these folks right here, whether you're 18 years of age, whether you're 20, 21, 22, 23 women, you got this. Yet there's got to be a desire to do the work, the hard work. And who has more probabilities in applying in going through this process? I've known of folks, even of a rep out of the electricals here of 595. He tried 3 times before he was accepted into an apprenticeship. So some of you will do what it takes, whether maybe you'll have to build up your resume with work related to the field that you want to go into, right? Because if that's what you want to do, you probably want to build up that resume versus working for Donald's, let's say, right? Maybe a hardware would be something for you, a lumber yard, for you to get feet wet if you can't afford a pre-apprenticeship. These pre-apprenticeships are apprenticeship readiness programs, right? These are backed up by the unions, by the way. Okay, they're union endorsed programs, and all these pre-apprenticeships they're meant for folks to be able to apply to these over 120 plus trades that we have to choose from. So yeah, come and visit us at Tradeswomen Inc. Pay attention. Hopefully I will also see you, some of you at the end of this little webinar. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Esther. The next person we're going to have present is Local 159, Plumbers and Steamfitters, Wayne Ellis, excuse me, Wayne.
Yes, my name is Wayne Ellis, and I'm a 45-year member of Local 159 in Martinez, California. I've worked all the way from Southern California and Los Angeles all the way to the Oregon border in California. I've worked in all the locals around the Bay Area. Our local covers Contra Costa County. They cover residential and commercial in Contra Costa County. But there are times when other locals ask for assistance and membership, and we go and provide some additional hands-on for installations if they're low, if their guys are kind of spread out. So I take advantage of that, and I've worked all over, and I've really enjoyed this trade. I really had a good time. And I have a good retirement now. I'm retired, and I make about 85 grand a year for doing nothing, but I do some things. I'm building a house right now. And then I do this. I try to reach out to other people that want to get into the apprenticeship and tell them how I did it so that they can have the opportunity to do it themselves. When I took the test, there wasn't a lot of information out there. There wasn't this type of situation where information was being, where you was outreach to you on all the time, and a number of different organizations and a number of different pre-apprenticeship programs. All that is happening now. There was only one organization back then, Bay Area Construction Opportunity Program, and I took advantage of it. And when I took the test, I took tests at 14 different trade unions. And I was on the list for about 6. And I selected 159, and I'm very happy with my selection. If you look at, we start out at around $24 an hour, and you get a raise every 6 months. Culminates to around $52 an hour, and then your last raise goes up to $61 an hour. And if you break down the wages and you work 10 months out the year, you're going to make close to $100,000 a year on the check. In addition to that, you have pension, you have 401k, which is also taken out. That's not including in the money that you get on your check. So over a 25-year period of working, including the reduced amount you get for the apprenticeship increases, you're going to make around $2.3 million in the 25 years. And then we have a couple of mantras in the trade unions, that is, we offer a career, not just a job. And the other one is retire with dignity. So when you make that 2.3 million, the last 25 years, based on your income that you get based on your 401k and your pension, you're going to still make around $90,000 a year or so. And that's another, you're going to double that amount of money. And you get health care during the whole time. While you're working, you get health care, you get dental. The trades really offer a lot of positive things. You just have to be willing to work hard and do the best job you can and try to get better at what you do over the years. The more experience you get, the better you're going to be at it. And then we have a test, and we have two factors on the test, which is math and then mechanical reasoning. So we have sample tests on those. And then they have those tests at a number of the places that you can learn about testing for free. On our application, we also have a number of places you can go to brush up on your math. So it's going to be some basic math. It's going to be some algebra. There's some geometry. And really the only trigonometry that we have is to do the hypotenuse of a triangle. That's really the only basic one that I have used through the course of my career. So it's not overwhelming. I mean, it's not a hard thing to learn. You guys can learn this and you can do very well at it. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. The next people we will have speaking is the Laborers Training and Trust Fund from Northern California, and that will be Giovanni.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Giovanni. I'm with the Laborers Apprenticeship Program. I'm based out of the training center in San Ramon, which covers the 46 counties of Northern California, but my territory is actually local 324. 324 covers Contra Costa up the coast to the Oregon, up to the Oregon border. So we're up through Del Norte, pretty big area. And we're part of LIUNA, Laborers International Union of North America. So we're an international outfit. We're in Canada as well. To tag along with what everyone else is saying, you know, the opportunities are basically to the moon here. The benefits are paid for by the contractor. So you as the individual are not paying for your own benefits. If you've ever asked, you know, your aunts, uncles, neighbors, you know, how much they're paying for their own medical, their own dental, their own vision, putting into their own retirement, putting into maybe a vacation fund, you can basically look at that and say somebody else is going to pay for that for you. All right. So when some of the other trades are talking about the extra amount on top of your hourly wage, that's exactly what it is. We are the biggest construction union in the country. We have 550,000 members nationwide. We have 78,000 in California alone. So when you have that many people putting into the same pot, your benefits are going to end up being pretty good. We have a 4-level apprenticeship program. In the first level, you start off at 21 an hour in this area. First raise would be about $1.68. Next raise after that is over $3. Next raise after that is over $3. Our classes are 6 weeks of classes throughout the course of the 2 years. You could easily look at it as 3 weeks the first year, 3 weeks the second year. So it's pretty manageable over here. It is a 2-year program, so we are the shortest apprenticeship of all the trades. So it's the fastest line to journeymanship. We get a lot of hours per year. We're the first on any project. We stay there throughout the course of the project, and we're the last to leave. So our hours, if I can, you know, just say are pretty outstanding. A number that I heard recently was 2019, we hit 44 million man hours. This last year, 2021, we had the ability to be an essential trade throughout the pandemic. And I can tell you that the work for us didn't really slow down. We brought in more people in 2021 than we did in 2019, our last non-COVID year. So if somebody out there is looking for security, if they like this type of work, if they could see this as a career, I would strongly encourage them to take a look at us. because a good laborer will easily work year round. In our type of work, we don't need a roof over our heads to do what we do. When the roads get damaged out there because of the rain, those are laborers out there fixing those roads. In the wintertime, I have had apprentices that get a little scared. They're thinking, hey, maybe they might end up on the out of work list. A lot of times I can assure them, you're a good apprentice, let's see what happens. And they're calling me a couple weeks later once the rain starts, telling me that their contractor just gave them a rain suit and be prepared to work throughout the winter. So as far as hours go, it's pretty outstanding. Requirements for our program. You must be 18 and over. We prefer that you have your own vehicle, and we prefer that you have a driver's license, although all you need is a government issued ID. And the reason I say that we prefer that you have your own vehicle is because you're going to cover a territory. Let's take Contra Costa, for instance. You would have to have the ability to be anywhere at any time within Contra Costa. So if the job starts at 2 a.m., you're not relying on BART or the bus system to get you to your job site. So it is a preferred, but it's not an end all. You do have to have the ability to pass a drug test. I tell everyone, going back 3 months, including marijuana, a lot of people believe that 30 days and they'll be clean, they'll be fine, no problem. But here's the reality. The reality is we're working with the biggest contractors. We're working on the biggest projects in this country, and the contractors need the peace of mind to know that everybody out there is clear-headed. If anybody is under the influence, it could cause a severe injury. People can lose limbs. There could be fatalities. There could be multiple fatalities. So because of that, drug use, including marijuana, is unfortunately not, or fortunately, not a possibility in this type of program. I did hear hair follicle as well. We are also in the refineries, and the refineries are using the hair follicle. So 3 months for a hair follicle might be a little too early as well. So that's a conversation that I have with all candidates and anybody aspiring. It's not cheap to join. It's $488 to join as an apprentice for the laborers union. And if somebody were to have a positive test the next day, no questions asked, they'd be terminated on the spot. They'd be terminated for a full year. The $488 that they just paid, they don't get that back. And now they're in a position where they have to go tell their friends and family why they no longer have this opportunity. So I try to be as sincere, but as honest as possible as I can with that, because eventually it's going to be the individual making their own choice as to if they want to move forward. If they're honest with us and they say, maybe right now isn't the best time, we appreciate the honesty. We let them know the opportunity isn't closed, but just let us know, once you feel confident in moving forward, and we'll let you know about the opportunities. So that's a big one there. I think that my 7 minutes is up. So I will be in the breakout room as well, and look forward to seeing you guys there.
Thank you, Giovanni. And we have our last presenter before we go to the breakout rooms, which is Juanita Douglas from Rising Sun.
Hello, everyone. My name's Juanita Douglas, and we are a pre-apprentice readiness training program. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, and Sabrina, I didn't forget you. Sorry. Go ahead, Juanita.
Okay. What I do is I prepare everyone to go to these jobs. I'll give you a little background about me. I spent 15 years as a commercial carpenter and then another 15 years as a land surveyor. I'm a workaholic, so I retired and I was lost. So I need to find something to do. And I was able to start training and teaching at Rising Sun Center for Opportunity. We run a 10-week program. And what I do is I prepare you for all these jobs, like all the math tests and everything that they're talking about to get into these programs. We have 45 hours of math that we teach and train you what to expect on these tests. We teach all the algebra, all the mechanical, whatever we can find to teach and train you how to get through these tests. The physical part, we have a physical trainer that comes in every Tuesday and Thursday morning and work with you an hour. Like the laborers, that's some of the hardest work out there. I actually have their labor assessment tests that every student that go through my program have to pass that test to graduate. We do that every Wednesday, Monday, and Wednesday morning in the class. We drug test 3 times: the day you enter the class, middle of the class, and the day you graduate. Now, we will still allow you to graduate if you don't pass that last drug test, but I will not send you or offer you even an opportunity for a job until you test clean. Now, I cannot teach you all the trades out there, but I can teach you how to be on time. I can teach you that when you're on time, you're late. Our classes start at 8 a.m. every morning. I'm in class every morning at 7 a.m. The goal is to beat me to class. Right now, we run 3 cohorts a year. February is our all women's class. Then I run 2 co-ed classes, June and December. The goal is to beat me to class because I understand what happens when you walk out on a job site and what you need to do to keep your job. I teach all the basics. When they walk off of my site, they understand how to use every power tool that I have. And if the power tool is out there for any trade, I go find it to teach my students how to use it. So if you're interested in this program, it's a 10-week program. Our next program starts June 14th. And this is our night and weekend program. It's Tuesday and Thursday nights and all day Saturday. We're at Rising Sun Center for Opportunity. They have all of the information, but I help you enter these trades. It's very, very competitive. So I kind of give you the edge that nobody else out there has. They contact me. I have all the paperwork as to when they're going to test. I have all that information and I get you ready for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Juanita. And now we have Sabrina from the operating engineers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina with the operating engineers. I'm the apprentice coordinator. What do operating engineers do? We build roads, highways, dams, bridges. We hoist building materials to build buildings. And also we have dredgermen. So these people excavate the silt, soil in the bay to allow the ships to come in and out of ports or in and out of canals. We have 9 branches of training through our apprenticeship program. The 4 main ones are construction equipment operators. So those are your backhoe operators, your dozer operators, your excavator operators. We have equipment mechanics. So anytime that piece of equipment needs maintenance, these heavy duty repairmen, mechanics go out there and repair if they're broken, if it needs an oil change, if it needs a transmission. We have crane operators. So if you need an air conditioned hoist onto a building, a crane operator is operating engineers. If you see those tower cranes in the cities, those are operating engineers. We also have grade setters. So if you're not comfortable operating equipment, but you want to be an operating engineer, a grade setter is a person that reads the plans, does the layout. They are kind of the foreman in training. Eventually these people come to a lead man position. They run the crew. Eventually they'll get a truck with a gas card so they can carry all those tools. And those people usually become the superintendents. So that's the fastest way to become a foreman and even a superintendent is by being a grade setter. There's 5 steps to our program. You get an advancement in your wage as you progress. So you start off at $27.24 an hour. So many hours you get advanced. The second step, you get an increase in wage. There's 5 steps to our program. A 5th step apprentice right now is at $42.10 an hour. That's with your fringes on top of that. So your medical, your vacation pay, your pension, The contractor pays into your training. So there's no cost to you. The only cost to a applicant to get into our program is the initiation fee, which is about $500 to get into our program, and paying quarterly union dues. Let's see here. Our program is about 3.5 to 4.5 years long, depending on which branch you choose. You must have a California driver's license, live in Northern California, and be 18 years old. We do have a training center. So to get into our program, you would have to pass 2 interviews, the drug test, and then complete 6 weeks of training. We have a training center in Slough House, California, which is right outside of Sacramento. They have dormitories and a cafeteria, so you could stay there for your 6 weeks of training. So you don't have to commute back and forth from your house to the training center. After the 6 weeks of training, you would get dispatched to an employer, and that's where your on-the-job training will get started. As you progress through your apprenticeship with your hours and your advancements and your steps, you would go back to the training center for 2 weeks of supplemental related training. For example, if you're a crane apprentice, when you get to your second step, they will send you to the training center to make you take a practical. A practical is you getting on a crane, a hydro crane, or even a lattice boom crawler crane, and you take that test. It prepares you to have your NCCO certifications, meaning you will be a certified crane operator when you journey out of our apprenticeship. This crane credentials are recognized nationally, not just in California. So the downsides to this industry of being an operating engineer, commuting. There's going to be no job site in your backyard that's going to be there forever. So you do have to have reliable transportation to get you to where the job is. It may be in your area, it may be in the Bay Area, but being an apprentice, they are relying on you to get to that job because they're counting on you to be a part of the team. Weather permitting. So this type of career is seasonal. Most of the time, if it's raining, operating engineers won't be working in the mud. But sometimes, for example, they do have emergency jobs where they might need to do some flood damage control. An operating engineer may be working in the rain. So it's always weather permitting with this type of industry. And then the third would be the economy. If the economy is doing good, operating engineers are going to be working. If the economy is in a recession, most construction projects aren't going to be going. So those are the 3 downsides to this type of trade if you be getting into it. Our applications are open for 6 months out of the year. It will be closing off in June 30th, 2022. So if you are interested, that would be when the applications need to be turned in by. You can go on our website, oe3.org, and then from there you get to watch the orientation video. In this orientation video is a code you'd have to submit to our training center in order to receive an application. We are in high demand for mechanics and grade setters. So if this is something you're interested in, it's a lifelong career. I started off when I was 20. I didn't know at the time the opportunity I was given, but within 5 years, I was financially independent. I was a journeyman. I felt like at first, like, man, this is a whole big different experience I wasn't expecting. But after those 5 years, you just get comfortable in your skill, which no one can take away. So I'm so happy that the opportunity came to me and I took advantage of it. But I look forward to meeting you guys in the breakout room.
Great, thank you. And thank you all for the presentation so far. I have gone ahead and set up breakout rooms and assigned each of the presenters. When I open the rooms, it'll tell you which room to go to. And then all the participants, you can choose whichever room that you want to go to. You can also come back to the main room and join another room. I'm going to go ahead and open all the rooms right now. And like I said, if the presenters could join the room they're assigned to, and then participants, you're able to join any room that you want to. And we can help you if you can unmute yourself if you're having trouble getting to a room.